Alright, so now it's going to be time to move on to flop number 2. And I have already randomly generated the flop and the turn, but there was a problem in the recording, so now I'm going to go over it again. And this is actually going to be a pretty difficult flop and turn to do. But, as I said, I've already done it, so I have a little bit of practice with it, and it's going to be a good one since it's a lot different than the first flop where we're going to have a lot of strong hands on the turn. Alright, so the flop I randomly generated was Ace 8-4 Rainbow. So the first thing we do is look at how many hand combos we have. We have 103, so Ace of Spades, 8 of Clubs, 4 of Diamonds. We have, sorry, I should have put it right down there. Ace of Spades, 8 of Clubs, 4 of Diamonds. Total combos is 103. Combos defended, 103 times 0.6 is going to get us 62. Alright, so now we have our first interesting decision in the hand. What do we want to value raise on this board? You can value raise nothing if you want. You can just call your entire range. That's something that's very reasonable to do here. You could raise hands, some of your hands that are strong enough to raise for value, and slow play others. And when you do decide which hands you want to raise, there's both a reasonable argument for raising Ace-King and flatting with the sets, and for raising the sets and flatting with the Ace-King. So any of those options is very reasonable. What I personally like to do more often than not, so I'm going to do it here, is in general, I like to raise hands that I know I can get value with now, and then slow play the hands that I know are going to be strong enough that I can raise them on the turn. This doesn't work perfectly here, but it's just a rule that I generally like to use, so I am going to use it right here because I do think it works okay. And I'm going to raise some, but not all, of my Ace-King. So I'm going to raise my 6 Ace-King, whereas I'm going to slow play pocket 8s and pocket 4s, because I know those hands are going to be strong enough that I can raise them on the turn. I'm also going to call with the other 3 Ace-King combos. Once again, if you wanted to raise with the sets here and flat with the Ace-King, that's a very reasonable argument as well, but I'm just going to raise 2/3 of my Ace-King and flat with everything else, because I want to mostly defend this flop by flatting, and then I can have some strong hands in my range on the turn. Okay, so we're going to value raise 6 combos of Ace-King, so we probably should bluff raise around 10 combos. So we'll get to that at the end, but if we're value raising 6 combos and bluff raising 10, 62 minus 16, that's going to get us 46. And so now we need to figure out what other hands we want to call with. We're calling with a relatively wide range here, which is how I prefer to do it. Alright, so let's see how many top pair hands we have. We have another 18 top pair. I'm going to go ahead and list them all. Ace-Queen, which is going to be 12. Ace-Jack suited, which is going to be 3. Ace-10 suited, which is going to be 3. Then we also can flat with pocket jacks, pocket 10s, 9-8 suited, and 8-7 suited. So that's going to give us 6 pair, 6-5 out pairs, and then 12 pairs that are between, top pair and middle pair. Alright, so let's count that now. Now we have 3 plus 6, that's 9, plus 12, that's 21, plus 3, that's 24, 27, 39, and that gets us to 45. So we're just one combo short of our desired calling range, but that's totally fine. We're not going to worry about one combo. And then we need a bluff raise to get us to 10. So the bluff raising is pretty easy. I would just prefer to use gut shots since we're going to know we're good when we turn, the nuts there. So that gets us to 8 combos. And then for the last 2, it doesn't really matter what you pick to bluff raise. You could bluff raise with 9s if you'd like. You can bluff raise with something, like 10-9 of clubs and 10-9 of diamonds, because those hands are very easy to double barrel. If you have 10-9 of diamonds, you can clearly double barrel any 7, any jack, or any diamond on the turn. So there's quite a few choices you have here. I'm just going to use 10-9 of clubs and 10-9 of diamonds. And we're going to just, this looks like a reasonable range to me. So, once again, we're going to go over all the turn cards we could possibly get. I think that was really useful when we did it in the first hand, but you can already kind of quickly see, if we have a king, that gives us some 2 pair, and we still have slow played sets. If we have an ace, we have a ton of trips, and we still have boats from pocket 8s and pocket 4s. Same deal, if the turn comes a queen, we have a billion, or 12, I guess technically 9. We have 9 top 2 pair hands, as well as a ton of sets, so a queen's an amazing card. Jack's a great card, and we still have tons of sets, so there's really not any turn cards that are going to not let us have some very, very strong hands in our range. Even if the turn comes a 2, for example, we're still going to have some sets. So